Welcome back. It's the final part. I present to you my top 10 favorite films. Number 10, American Movie. The most quotable movie of all time.
So I was thinking, I'm 30 years old, and in about 10 seconds, I gotta start cleaning up somebody's shit, man.
This documentary follows indie filmmaker Mark Borchardt, who's trying to make a movie about an alcoholic writer that has to battle his own personal demons. Mark's an easy guy to latch onto. You can relate to him, dreaming the big dream.
I'll be okay again, I'll be just like you, wandering around the kitchen just like you. Yeah, you're right. Never.
This is the common, everyday man. Everybody at some point has filmed something in their backyard or got their mom to act. At his side is his best buddy, right-hand man, Mike Shank. He's cool as shit.
Ready, Mike? When I say take one, give it a couple seconds. Take one. That was wicked, man.
Then there's Uncle Bill, one of the funniest motherfuckers around.
It's all right. It's okay.
Okay, cut. You gotta bring passion to it. A message. It's a message.
This is for the shits and for the birds.
It's humble and it's sincere. It's my filmmaking Bible. Number 9, Wizard of Oz. It's a timeless gem. Even though it was made in the 30s, it's just as appealing to any generation. It's such a classic story. Farm girl Dorothy wants to get away from her mundane, sepia-toned life. She's transported to the Technicolor fantasy world of Oz, and then longs to be back home.
And I'm trying to get home to you, Annie. I'll give you any empire.
There's so much going on. Singing munchkins, flying monkeys. You put on the movie and it's like a blast of colors and crazy shit going on. Each of the characters Dorothy meets represents some kind of virtue, knowledge, compassion, and courage. And the Wicked Witch is a symbol of all our childhood fears. It's such a rich story, but aside from that, I just like looking at it. The painted backgrounds are such a spectacle, and that Emerald City sitting at the end of the yellow brick road is an image that I'll never forget. You subject your imagination to it, you feel magic and wonder and fear, and then you come back to the real world satisfied.
There's no place like home.
Number 8, Terminator 2. With the Terminator movies, I think it's understandable for anyone to choose either the first movie or the second, for their own reasons. But for me, Terminator 2 is the ultimate masterpiece of action and science fiction. It's all a battle for the fate of the future. A Terminator goes back in time to try and kill John Connor, the future savior of humanity, while a good Terminator comes to protect him and along with his mother go on a mission to prevent the future war from happening. The CG effects were groundbreaking for the time, and the action scenes are still just as amazing as ever. However, it's the story arc that makes the movie so great. The characters all go through a change. The Terminator takes the place of a father John never had and learns the value of human life. Sarah goes from being a paranoid wreck, doomed by the horrible future, to having a newfound optimistic outlook that we as a human race can learn to make the future better. Number 7, the Star Wars trilogy. Yeah, I couldn't pick one. I consider the first 3 films one whole movie. And what I mean is the first 3 that were made. It completes a story arc over those 3 movies, and to me, is a whole. I feel very attached to these films because I saw them at a young age. As a kid, I was into the monsters and the special effects. As an adult, I followed the story and fully appreciated everything else that went into these movies. And with repeated viewings, they're always just as great.
I know.
From a technical standpoint, I think it's real impressive the imagination and creativity that went into making all these creatures using puppets and animatronics. It's really a dying art. What I think makes the story so timeless is that it's a combination of everything we're familiar with, whether we can identify it or not. It borrows from classic science fiction, fantasy, western, samurai films. It's every epic story rolled into one. Number 6, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Gene Wilder gives an incredible performance as the candy man Willy Wonka who makes the world taste good. By finding golden tickets hidden in his chocolate bars, 5 lucky children get a tour of his chocolate factory. Most of the children are spoiled, rotten brats.
Snozberries! Who ever heard of a snozberry?
Only Charlie is noble and decent. In the end, he's rewarded for being a good kid. Even though the moral of the story is to be a good boy and not be greedy, it doesn't come out and preach it. You're too busy having a good time. All the crazy set pieces, catchy songs, it makes you feel like a kid. For a movie about candy and chocolate, it sure can be horrifying too.
Tell our little guy to turn this around, Wonka!
It's like a terrible acid trip. There's the boy getting stuck in the pipe, there's the girl who's about to burst like a balloon, and Wonka's always flipping out like a lunatic.
They're certainly not showing any signs that they are slowing!
It scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
The suspense is terrible. He's gonna go this time. I hope it'll last.
The movie was filmed in Munich, Germany, although apparently it was never released in Germany until after the Tim Burton version. I've gotten a lot of emails telling me about that, and I find it very depressing. No country should ever be without Willy Wonka.
If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it.
Every time I finish watching it, it leaves me with a warm, optimistic feeling that if you look in the right places, the world is full of pure imagination. Number 5. Rocky. Sylvester Stallone writes and stars as a humble, small-time boxer who gets a chance to fight the heavyweight champion, the cocky and arrogant Apollo Creed, played by Carl Weathers. Rocky's an unsophisticated brute, but he has a good heart. He refuses to break a guy's thumb, he tries to help a little girl on the street, and he sees the beauty in a shy store clerk, Adrian, played by Talia Shire. As she warms up to Rocky, so do we as an audience.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Why do you want to fight?
Because I can't sing or dance. Hey, yo.
Burgess Meredith plays his trainer, Mickey, the classic archetype of an old broken-down mentor.
Like the guy said, you're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna crap thunder.
Then there's Adrian's brother, Paulie, played by Burt Young, a real bitter character with violent mood swings and pissy attitude.
You want the bird? Go in the alley and eat the bird.
Oh,
But underneath it all, a heart of gold. Through good times and bad times, the final outcome is a positive feeling. One of the all-time feel-good movies, a classic story of the underdog who rises up and overcomes. Number 4, Ghostbusters. I don't even need to vouch for it. Ghostbusters is one of the most popular movies in existence.
He slimed me.
It's brilliant. 3 guys start a business catching ghosts at the expense of being ridiculed. They go from being a total joke to being New York City heroes. The ghost effects are charming and sometimes terrifying. The dogs used to scare my balls off. It's a perfect blend of horror and comedy.
Okay, who brought the dog?
What makes it all work are the characters and their personalities. They balance scientific intellect with childish bickering. They interact with one another in a way that feels natural and improvised, churning out some of the greatest movie quotes of all time.
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Over the past 25 years, it's only gotten funnier. As a kid, I didn't always understand Bill Murray's dry sense of humor, but now I get it. He's the master of sarcasm. I just look at his face and want to laugh.
Tell you what, I'll take Miss Barrett back to her apartment and check her out. I'll go check out Miss Barrett's apartment. Okay?
Okay.
The great thing about this movie is that the special effects never overshadow the delicate humor. It all fits in place.
What the hell are you doing?
And that says a lot for a movie that's about an architect named Shandor who creates a building for attracting spiritual energy, calling forth an ancient Sumerian god named Gozer the Gozerian, who can only appear when 2 dogs named Zul and Vince Clortho take possession of a guy and a girl, turning them into the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. They get it on top of the building, making Gozer appear, who then takes the form of the Destructor by reading someone's mind who's thinking of marshmallows and becomes Stay Puft, a giant marshmallow man, to destroy New York City. Wow, it's ingenious. Number 3, Back to the Future. Anyone who lives on planet Earth has got to love this movie. It's a comedy, a science fiction, an action movie, and a high school movie. It has everything in it. Furthermore, it's a solid trilogy with a story that completes itself over the course of 3 movies. But for me, it's a no-brainer. The first one is the best.
21 gigawatts!
Also, like Ghostbusters, the plot will make your head spin if you think about it too much. Marty McFly goes back in time and accidentally separates his parents from falling in love, thus preventing his own birth. On top of getting them back together, he must also outrun a bully named Biff, get back to the present time, and save his friend Doc Brown from being shot. The script does a clever job fleshing out all the characters, playing with the irony and paradoxes, throwing surprises, and crafting hilarious dialogue that isn't there just for the sake of comedy, but also for revealing important plot points and always moving the story forward.
Whoa, wait a minute. Doc, are you trying to tell me that my mother has got the hots for me?
Precisely.
Whoa, this is heavy.
There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
It's one of the tightest screenplays ever written. In no way should this film be limited to 80s pop culture. It really is one of the greats. Number 2, King Kong. This is the movie that made me want to become a filmmaker. It's a true testament to the power of creative vision. To make all the creatures come alive, Willis O'Brien had to invent new techniques. By using a combination of stop-motion animation and a life-size head of Kong, it broke new grounds in movie making. Sometimes the actors were performing in front of a rear projection, other times 2 pieces of footage were composited together, and other times the scenes with the real actors were projected into the background frame by frame while the stop-motion creatures were being animated around them. For 1933, it's beyond impressive and truly a wonder of cinematic history. The soundtrack itself is a masterpiece. For an early talkie film with sound, it really went balls to the wall. Never is there a quiet moment. You can hear birds in the background, dinosaur roars, and a fully orchestrated musical score that heightens the excitement. On top of all that, it's a timeless story of Beauty and Beast. A great adventure with great pacing. It starts out slow and accelerates to an exciting finale. A milestone in motion picture achievement. And now, number 1, it's a mad, 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 mad world. It's a comedy, an action movie, and a treasure hunt all in one. A man who's on the run from the cops crashes his car over the side of a cliff. That's how you start a good movie. Random people get out of their cars and go down the cliff to try and help. But the man's dying, and in his final words, tells him he hid $350,000 in a park.
It's in this box, buried under this... buried under this big W.
So all these strangers decide they're going after the money. So it becomes a race. The rest of the film follows real time as they travel Southern California, from Palm Springs to the Portuguese Bend. They travel by air, by water, by ground, and everything that could possibly go wrong does. The different groups cross paths here and there, they meet other people along the way, and it all ties together so nicely. Its biggest claim to fame is that it stars every famous comedian of the time, like Milton Berle, Sid Caesar, and it's loaded with cameos. Jerry Lewis, Don Knotts, Jack Benny, the Three Stooges, and even Buster Keaton. Most of these cameos are completely pointless.
What?
But as far as the main cast goes, they all do such a great job, it's not important you know who they are. Mickey Rooney and Buddy Hackett make a real funny pair. There's a scene where they're stuck on a plane with an alcoholic pilot.
You think you ought to drink while you're flying?
Well, stop kidding, will you? Make us some drinks. I mean, just press the button back there marked booze. It's the only way to fly.
The pilot passes out, and they're stuck trying to land the thing. It takes a serious situation like that and makes it funny. Ethel Merman plays a cranky, annoying bitch.
Oh, Emmeline, shut up!
That's the whole point. She's the character you love to hate. Whenever something bad happens to her, you cheer. Phil Silvers plays a swindler, a real dirty, rotten bastard, always tricking the other characters.
Oh, kid, you better get that bike out of there. Somebody's liable to trip over it in the dark.
Jonathan Winters is the lovable guy you root for. He's always the blunt end of the joke, but he gets mad and fights back. In one of the best scenes from any movie, he battles two gas station attendants for almost no reason at all. The gas station is more fragile than anything Ed Wood ever created. He doesn't just do some damage, he fucking annihilates that place. By the time it's over, there's nothing left. He levels the gas station to the ground. You're still laughing when the next scene comes on and we introduce Dick Shawn as the crazy nut Sylvester. He's the moodiest and most unpredictable character in the film. The first time we see him, he's dancing. Then he's trying to run somebody off the road.
When I get, I'm gonna nail.
He's like a tornado. When Sylvester's not happy, you're in big trouble. Spencer Tracy plays a police inspector who's watching over the other characters and planning to take the money for himself. While he doesn't participate in the chase, not from the beginning, you can see the hell he goes through at the police department and understand his reasons for wanting the money, looking for that grand escape. It was originally shown on a 70mm format, the equivalent of today's IMAX. Supposedly the original rough cut was 5 hours long and shortened to just over 3 hours for its premiere. For its general release, it was cut to 2 hours 40 minutes, and that's the standard version we see today on the DVD. Even though some of the missing parts have been restored on the Laserdisc and some of the VHS editions, there are still scenes from the premiere which are now lost. My opinion is, if you're a casual viewer, stick to the 2 hour 40-minute version. It's a big spectacle, lots of car crashes, lots of stunt work, but it all flows like a ballet. It's a movie that celebrates the comedy of life. It's about common, ordinary, working people who aren't happy with their lives, who see a goal in sight, that unreachable fantasy, the big W, a symbol of all our dreams. But they're overcome by humanity's greatest flaw, which is greed. And the real funny thing is that every single one of these characters gets what they deserve. The world is a mad place.